Hello, I'm your host Letitia Bishop, and this is the Beauty Talk podcast. Thank you so much for coming back and listening to another episode. I appreciate every single one of you that love and subscribe to the show and share it with all of your friends. If you don't know me already, I am a pro makeup artist of over 7 years. I have lived and worked in most major cities around the world. I'm now living here in Hong Kong. And I work on fashion shoots, celebrities, private clients, small weddings. I'm also a beauty writer here for a few of the publications here, and a content creator on Instagram, and obviously podcast host. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. Hi. So let's get right into the episode. Today, I'm going to cover five tips, actually, I've got 5 for you today. So as you can see on the title, it is the makeup product failures and tips to fix them. So I was given this idea by a friend because, I always have to remind myself that makeup and skincare and all this beauty stuff, a lot of it's like self-explanatory to me, but when you're talking to the average girl out there, sometimes they didn't get these things. And I often notice this when I do private one-on-one makeup lessons with women. They struggle with just some things that I find are really, really simple. But I mean, I guess that's with everything, right? This is my passion. It's not everyone's passion. So I'm sure there's loads of things that I struggle with that other people think are really, really simple. So yeah, here is some answers to those makeup failures that you may be experiencing all the time and just think, oh, this is not for me. I can't do it. There's a way, I promise you. Okay, so I've got 5. So number 1 is primer peeling, things peeling or rolling on your face. So this, it still happens to me because I'm in a rush sometimes, like most of us, and that's when it happens. So it's often because we haven't left enough time. So when you're using a primer, often you will notice when you're putting your foundation on or your concealer on and you're blending it around your eyes and around your forehead, that it starts balling up and rolling up, and it is like so irritating because you just feel like, oh, I need to start all over again and I'm already in a rush. And yeah, it's a disaster. Sometimes I try using a face mist over it and trying to like rehydrate things. Sometimes it works. Start patting when it starts rolling and peeling. Stop doing the wiping motions and try just to pat your foundation in. But yeah, it's kind of already messed up once it's already started to peel. And the remedy for that is to wait. You need more time in the morning when you're getting ready. So, I always look at it as like a sandwich approach. It's a three-step approach. You have I've talked about this on the podcast before. If you've listened to my other episodes, it's a good reminder though, that you have to do your skincare, wait 10 minutes, ideally 5 minutes is fine. Sunscreen, wait. We need to wait for the sunscreen to set, create a film, do what it's designed to do to protect us from the UVA and UVB rays outside. It needs time to set, and then you go in with your primer and start to do your makeup routine. So you've got those 3 categories. You've got the skincare, the sunscreen, and the makeup. And in between those 3 needs a little bit of wait time. So I always recommend in between one, do your hair, and in between another, brush your teeth, or put your clothes on, or pop your toast in the toaster, or make your coffee, something like this. Not just going bang, bang, bang from those 3. That's when you run into problems with your products because you haven't given them time to set and work how they're meant to. So yes, that is probably the number 1 reason why primer peels. The other reason is doubling up on silicone products. So if your moisturizer in your skincare area had a lot of silicone in it, or if your sunscreen was siliconed and then your primer is silicone, all those silicones layering on top of each other will create that peeling effect. There's nothing wrong with silicones. I don't have anything really against them. we wash our face at the end of the day, they come off. There's all types of silicone for skincare, very sophisticated ones out there. So yeah, it's either too many silicones or you're not waiting long enough. So try those tips and let me know if it helps. Moving along, number 2, white sunscreen, or people under the impression that sunscreen makes you white, gives you the white cast on your face. Where would we be with a Beauty Talk podcast episode without me talking about sunscreen? Obsessed. Yes, not all sunscreen makes you have that white ghostly look on your face. I promise you. Some people have tried a few and those were the ones they bought, and they're under the assumption that they can't be bothered with sunscreen because it just makes them look sickly and white. I can assure you that that's not all sunscreens. Most of my sunscreens don't do that. It's just because you were using the mineral sunscreens. So mineral sunscreens have like physical barriers in terms as a white reflective pigment in them, and they also have chemical pigments as well, but they're a blend. And they give that white cast. So they are getting better, but they still do give a bit of a white, or it might take a few minutes to sink in. So if you really don't want to experience that, go for chemical sunscreens. And don't think chemical is not the greatest word for it, but it's just doesn't have those organic physical blocking parts in it, and there are so many on the market that are amazing. Specifically Japanese and Korean ones are really great. I can link a few of my favorite ones down below that I can get easily here in Hong Kong. Not sure about other parts of the world, but you can always find them on Yes Style or Amazon, and they're really inexpensive, beautiful textures. There's no reason why you can't find a sunscreen that you love, and it's a journey to find the right sunscreen for you. And when you do find one, it's great. It's just about finding one that you enjoy to use and use it every day. And if you buy one and it's a no-no for you, start using it on your body, don't waste it, then find another one to try for your face. That's always my tip for everybody. So yeah, not all sunscreens will make you white, so keep going with the sunscreen, look for one. Number 3 that people have problems with is red lipstick and it getting everywhere. It bleeds around the mouth. It gets on your teeth. So when wearing a red lipstick, I have one on today. I also film this podcast visually, so you can watch it on YouTube if you would like to see me talking. Up to you guys. So red lipsticks, they are a little bit more of a sacrifice. Well, not sacrifice, but they're a decision. They involve some maintenance. They're not like a one swipe and forget about it and go out for dinner. You do kind of have to be a little bit aware of it and check it every now and then. Can't live without the mirrored phone case. Love that. Always have a mirror with you. So the teeth one, that's easy. So they, this is an old trick that I think that everybody knows it, but again, maybe you don't know it because you're not so obsessed with beauty like me. But if you're watching a beauty podcast, maybe you are. So when you put your lipstick on, you take your clean finger and you put it inside your mouth and you kind of suck on it and pull it out, and then that removes that removes the lipstick from the inside of your mouth if you've put too much there, and then that will greatly reduce it getting on your teeth. The bleeding part, that comes down to using a lip liner and the formula of the lipstick that you're wearing. So there's not just one type of lipstick formula out there. I'm sure many of you know, there is so many types of lipsticks. We have matte lipsticks, we have satin lipsticks, we have glossy lipsticks, we have lip glosses, and then we have liquid lipsticks. So, and then we have like a pencil, like a chubby pencil type of lipstick as well. There's probably more. That's just off the top of my head. So, yeah, if you're wearing a red lipstick and you do feel like you don't want to be thinking about it and maintaining it all the time, a liquid lipstick where they dry and they set on your lips is a really good choice for strong colors, because it doesn't run and bleed. Once you've put it on, it stays on there until you start eating like oily foods and things. They will remove it. Or if you, I mean, I don't love them because they're not flattering. They make your lips look really dry, and I feel like they can kind of crack off when you kind of go like this with your lips. But they do really resolve that issue of it bleeding. So maybe if you're having really intense bleeding, like bleeding, maybe some of you don't know what I mean by bleeding. I have to remember this, Letitia. Bleeding is like when you have lines, like wrinkles on the outsides of your lip line, like towards your nose, like on the outsides, where the color will bleed up and create like a little line. Like often if you have like smoker's lines, we call it, like where you smoke on cigarettes a lot and you get those wrinkles from creating that movement a lot on your mouth. So maybe a red liquid lipstick and then a creamy red lipstick over the top will really give you longevity, but a more nicer hydrating feel. Or you can go the route of the good old lip pencil. So they really help. They're not quite as everlasting as a liquid lipstick, but they're not quite as drying as well. So lining your lips fully, I would just line the whole lips with that and then go over with my lipstick that matches. Also, the NARS like pencil lipsticks, like they're in a pencil, they're really lovely. They do stay in place. They're so lightweight. I love those products. I should really get some other colors for those. I have a bright red one that feels weightless. I'll link that down below. Yeah, so it's just about maybe experimenting with a few different lip textures when you're wearing red lipsticks to try to find one that works for you. So that was number 3. Number 4, concealer not covering anything. So I remember like seeing my mum do her makeup one year, or other people when they do their makeup, they're like trying to cover a red dot on their face or their under eyes or cover some blemish, but you put the lipstick on, then you kind of like swipe it in and blend it in like that. And often people don't realize they're just moving it away from where they want it to cover. So you're not letting that product, live to its full life. You're not taking full advantage of how that product was designed, because you need to have it sitting on where you want it to cover the blemish or your dark circles. So my tip always is to pat and don't swipe. That was also in another podcast episode. So pat. So pop the concealer on, like where your pimple is. Say if it's on your chin or something, pop it on. Then wait a few seconds, let it dry a little bit and get a bit more tacky. And then just pat on top of it. So you're not moving it and sliding it around all over your face and it's missing the point, like it's missing the spot. So that works also for your under eyes. You pop it on, wait a few seconds, and then pat it all in the under eye. I often like kind of look up to get in that area, and that will give you more coverage out of the product you already have at home. So see if that helps and gives you a bit more longevity and extra covering power from your current concealer. I would love to know if that helps you. Okay, number 5, so the last one, is lash curlers. And people saying they don't work for them, they just can't use them. I have 2 things that you could consider to like revisit lash curlers, and maybe they will work for you. Okay, so number 1 is trying with the same curlers that you own at home. Don't be scared. They do look like medieval torture devices, but they're not. They could be if you use them the wrong way, that's for sure. They could really hurt. So looking into your mirror, okay, you have your mirror down a little bit, tilt your chin upwards, and that way you're exposing your eyelashes a little bit. Tilt your chin up and you're looking down into the mirror, and then you go in and wiggle your lash curler on your lashes, clamp down a little bit. If you don't feel any pain, and that means you haven't grabbed any skin, and then you clamp harder, do some pump, 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 and that will help. So instead of looking into your mirror and bending your chin down towards your chest, that you can't really like get to your lashes like that. They kind of go, especially if you have a hooded eye shape like me, your lashes will kind of go up into your brow bone. So if you just tilt your head a little bit and then wiggle them in that way, it's all about like kind of, it's not just like a one way to do it for everybody, because everyone's eye and face and bone structures are all different. We're all unique. That's a beautiful thing. And it's just about like maybe you have to tilt your head to the side to do one eye and really get the outside bits really perky and up. And then the other side, you've got to tilt your head the other way. So just try tilting your head different ways to expose your eyelashes like further away from your eye so you can get your eyelash curler in. So that's like the first tip for the lash curlers. The second one is the shape of your eyelash curlers curve. So not all eyelash curlers are created equally. Surprise. Some are so the curve, so when you look at the curve of how it's bent, some are much more curved and some are more flat than others. Like the curve is less extreme. So they designed those for Asian eyes and Western eyes. I find the Asian eye ones work better on me. I don't know why, because I really don't have my eyes are very hooded. But the flatter curve seems to work better with my eye shape, and I have this pair of eyelash curlers that I've had for so long, like way too long, from Etude House. I think that's how you say it, a Korean, very affordable Korean cosmetic store. I bought the lash curlers here in Hong Kong, I think. But I always replace the pads, the squishy part on my lash curlers. So don't think you do have to replace those pads frequently because they get like a cut and a line in them. But the shape, like the metal shape of the curlers, the curve, I just love, and none other of the other fancy, the Shuumer ones that everyone uses, they don't work for me. So I do want to buy another. I have looked online for clients when I'm doing makeup shopping for them. I have looked and found that there is, like the Tweezerman brand. They are really popular. I think they're an American company for doing tweezers, and then they branch out and they do like scissors and other tools. I think they've even done brushes, but they do eyelash curlers, and they have almond shape, and they have two shapes. So I do want to buy a pair and maybe find, because I don't think the Korean one that I have is for sale anymore. Yeah, so it'd be nice to replace those. But the flatter ones are the ones that work for my eyes. So maybe you could try the other version of whatever you don't have, or just when you're in the stores, maybe you'll find another pair that the curve is not as extreme as the ones you have at home, and it could help you. So do know that there is more than one shape of eyelash curlers out there, and you should be able to find one that works for you. So that was it. 20 minutes, kind of short, not so bad. I hope you enjoyed those tips and that they help your daily makeup troubles that you might have had. Thanks for listening to the show. You can find everything that I've mentioned down below on my blog link. I will leave the episode link for this post down below. And while you're there, be sure to sign up to my newsletter so that every episode is delivered directly to your inbox, so you will never miss an episode. I would love to hear from you and see what you thought of the episode. You can follow me on Instagram at Letitia Bishop. And I have a private Facebook group for this podcast, which you'll also find a link for down below. And don't forget to subscribe on whatever podcast platform that you love listening to, whether that be Spotify, Google, or Apple Podcasts. I'm on all of those. If you like the show, leave some love by writing a review, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.